Hey, what's going on, agents? Kiefer here. So I wanted to make a video and catch up with you guys about Division 2. There's been some recent talk from the developers about their new projects that are coming up, the new DLC for Division. A lot of YouTubers are talking about it, and uh, you know, my channel is very small, but a lot of you guys I met in the game. So if for any reason you're curious about what I think, or you're wondering maybe where I've been, or whatever, uh, big salute to all of you, first and foremost, and this video is for you. I want to make sure that you guys are, kept into the loop, and that way, when I start randomly uploading, videos from other games and stuff like that, you guys don't feel like you're left behind, right? Also, in this video, I want to share with you my top 3 picks for PvE as far as builds go in Division 2, just in case you guys are still messing around with the game, or you're curious. Once again, what I have found to be something that I enjoy to play, right? So two of the builds you're gonna know, I made some changes to them, and then the third one is a little bit of a surprise. I was never able to make a full video of it because I feel like it just sort of highlights the worst parts about Division 2. But before we get into that, let's talk about the recent news that was put out by Massive, I suppose. I did not tune into the stream itself, but apparently Hamish and what's his name, um, director of the game or whatever it is, were there. I'm trying to remember his name. Yannick. Yeah. Okay. So apparently they were on a stream. I read some of the cliff notes of the stream, and it sounds to me like more of the same lip service that's been paid to us regarding their new DLC that they want us to buy. They're not giving us any details, any firm details, no dates, no information. However, they did already hint at the idea that what's introduced in this new DLC is going to change the game on a fundamental level. So what I'm seeing is another power increase. They've already said that they won't do it, so I'm not, maybe it won't happen, but they might wipe everybody's gear in some way. They might change the systems in the game that, all the same make your gear that you have now obsolete. And I think that that's probably what's going to happen since we didn't get a DLC this year, and it will have been about 2 years since Warlords of New York came out. That means everybody's pretty much farmed up, anybody who's still playing the game. And, while I think it's a good sign that they would be making DLC for people who are playing the game and people who are like potentially the most geared and the most hardcore players, rather than trying to make something that will appeal to a whole bunch of other people who don't actually play the game. I think it's good for them to have taken that approach, but they're not giving us any information at all. I'll probably end up playing the DLC at some point, but I'm going to be very skeptical as we go. I really want to see specific things from this team, and especially regarding balance changes in this game, because I feel that this game's always been imbalanced. And if they just took the time to do a little bit of simple math and to do some play testing, actual play testing, I think that this game could be a lot better. And it would feel a lot better. It would be a lot more rewarding. Also, if they stopped trying to make this into some sort of next generation Dark Souls, it would be really nice because their AI is completely borked. If you even take them at their own words, right? Their AI experiences a bug where it acts unrealistically or it just pushes in with, a bajillion HP and just mows you down, right, on harder difficulties. The scaling on 4 player heroic is completely out of whack, and the players who play this game all the time know that it's basically not something you want to do. You don't want to play with 4 players in heroic. You want to play with 3 max, right? Because of the scaling. And the devs have come out and said that this is how they want it. So in my opinion, I really don't like the dev team in charge of the game. I'm not married to this franchise. Obviously, I have no reason to be. And if you look online, if you look on YouTube Division 2 and you sort by date, you're going to see all the people who are married to this franchise. Skills, Epic Slayer, all these dudes coming out with these videos talking about the game and all this and how hyped they are and this and that. And I'm just not one of them anymore. I love Division 1. That was my first love in the franchise, and I feel like 1.8.3 was in a really great place. So, oh look, well, we got a surprise friend, uh, VPN friend from the look of it. I love that too. Um, so anyway, Yeah, when it comes down to Heartland, this new game, and the DLC, we're just gonna have to wait and see. You are not gonna see any more videos about Division 2 on this channel for the time being until the DLC is released, until after the DLC is released, all right? So, with that said, I can, I feel a little bit of freedom. I can do whatever I need to do. I'm playing a lot of Destiny recently. I might be playing other games as well. I might have some other videos to share with you guys. We got Stalker coming next year. Hopefully I'll be able to play that. I got a little bit of a bet with my friend. I'm not going to play it until he has a new GPU. So with GPU prices the way that they are, I might not be playing that game for a little while. So let's get into the builds that I have here. I really, this is one that you guys probably know, but if you've never tried this 3% armor regen, Ridgeways, 5 blue, 1 red, definitely check it out with Sadist, the Anarchist Cookbook, perfect, whatever it is, perfect, wicked, yeah, perfectly wicked. Um, this is really a really super cool build. I call this build the Combo Breaker build because Combo Breaker is the guy who I saw using it first. He's a really cool streamer, very hardcore dude, uh, really nice in PvP. If he gets smacked, he's just coming right back out of the checkpoint to try to dance with you. So, this build really lets you do that. It lets you show the kind of courage and whatever you need to have to be able to play with even the best players with their insync and their shields and the rest of it. Obviously, a lot of people feel like it's cancer using the big shield and having the liberty and all this stuff, but I think that it, it's cancer in the good way, not cancer in the bad way, right? It's like the anti-meta, okay, like pure and simple, right? So, highly recommend you guys check this one out, especially with the disorient pulse. And yeah, you just basically deal a bunch of damage with your weapons, however you want to. Targets close to you are going to get bled while you're shooting them, and then your weapons are going to deal extra damage to the bleeding targets. Your wicked is going to deal damage against targets that have status effects. So the pulse and bleeding them is going to be working in that regard as well. So yeah, basically you just brawl until you're low on health, and then you pull the big shield. It changes your hitboxes a little bit, and you start shooting for the head. You're going to be clacking for almost 1 million on the Liberty every shot. So it's definitely something worth checking out, and that's just like a little bit of a bonus loadout since I saw it right there. But the top three PVE builds that I have in Division 2 that I use when I play this game. Number one is my Invincible Cheater shield build. Okay, this thing is so strong whenever you don't know what's going on. If you're going into matchmaking of any kind, if you're answering backup requests or anything like that, this is a really, really strong build. I'd take it into anything that isn't a legendary because generally standing in front of enemies that are shooting at you in a legendary is a really bad idea, right? But this is a really strong build and it's a lot of fun to play. You saw this build on my channel before. I made a video about it and I did change one detail and I managed to squeeze on the contractor's gloves. Alright, so basically we have a dead brand bonus, which is unfortunate, but I did the math with the walker piece that we used to have. We used to have one piece walker, and the 5% weapon damage was not equal to the 8% damage to armor that we get. So you get a couple thousand more on each weapon hit with it set up this way. And that's very good because, you're still shooting marshmallows with this build, but it's still super powerful for sharing armor. I'm going to link the video to this build in the description, and you guys can check it out on my channel if you want. And just, this is the final form. Again, basically, all we were able to do is just juggle the walker off and put on our standard red core contractor's gloves, meta contractor gloves, right? The second PvE build that I use all the time is the Fireman build. I did also feature this one on the channel. Burn Protocol was the name of the video, and in that video, I'd had the backpack as well from the Eclipse set. We don't really need the backpack. It wasn't doing a whole lot for us, and the extra damage against the targets wasn't really paying dividends as much as the fire itself was. So I wanted to try a Creeping Death backpack. I managed to get one to drop for me with status effects already rolled onto it or into a place where I could roll status effects. As you see, armor regen. I went over this in the video. If you just have one attribute rolled for armor regen, basically when you get your armor cracked, that regen is going to start working immediately, and the game will very quickly see you as having some armor. So next time you pop out of cover and if you get cracked again, The game is going to give you like invulnerability frames. If you've played Dark Souls, you're familiar with that idea. So um, I found that it saves my ass more often than it doesn't. It's a little bit cheesy, but it's something to keep in mind that all you need is just one of your attributes rolled for armor regen. And as you see, I don't even have it optimized, and it still works for me. Basically, when you hear that bang and your armor gets cracked, you got just a little bit of invulnerability. You'll notice your character gets a little tanky for a second before you go down, right? So that's what this is for. And otherwise, you're just staying in cover. You're burning everything down. The creeping death will proc all the time. It's going to proc also on your scorpion hits if it needs to. You're going to be able to get this perpetuation to work on the assault rifle very easily. The spread is going to work great. As you know from the video, it's a very powerful build. And I will take this one into legendaries. Usually when I go into legendaries, if there's no other CC, no other crowd control, I'll go ahead and take this build, but I will switch to a foam chem launcher, and even depending on the skills on the team, you can go to an EMP sticky bomb. And because this build works on status effects only, it works very good in those legendary situations. So highly recommend that one as well. Now, if I'm going into a legendary mission, usually, or if we're clearing like CPs or something like that, I switch to my turret build. Now, this is a really kind of a weird one. It's pretty standard in a lot of ways, but as you can see, I have like this random piece of providence. You don't need any providence here. You don't need a red core. You can do whatever you want, but you have a free skill tier from the technician, right? So you set your technician to 10% skill damage, and you get that free um, technician tier, or skill tier. So that really means that you can do whatever you want. I could go with another Hannah U, but the 5-piece bonus on the Hannah U is, I believe, weapon damage, right? So again, it's either way. You are going to be shooting your weapon with this, but generally all you're going to be doing is stacking your capacitor or trying to finish off a target to proc your what is this, future perfect or whatever this is, right? So um, this is a lot of fun in legendaries. It deals a ton of damage. Once your turret nets a kill, it's going to proc tech support, and that tech support is going to give you like a 25% damage increase for like 20 seconds, which is going to start laying out some NPCs pretty heavy. So I highly recommend checking this one out. Basically, how you're going to do this one. I think I have protection from elite mods. Yeah, you could do haste. You could do whatever you want as far as your mods and stuff go. This is just a template, but in general, you have your artificer hive because I never found another reason to use one except for on a turret build, and it's kind of it makes you different. People are gonna see that hive and they're gonna be like, "Wow, what is that? How do you use that? What does that do?" And basically, all it does is just refresh the duration, right? It's a little bit underpowered skill, but again, you have BTSU. You can proc that by canceling your hive, get an overcharge, little 15% more damage on your turret, and you'll be able to, you know, stand out in a crowd a little bit, which is like what I like to do. So again, this is for legendaries or for group situations when you need a little bit more skill damage in a CP4 heroic plus directive or whatever you're doing, right? So that's it. That's it for Division 2. I'm happy. I'm actually very happy to be closing this game down for the time being and just stepping away from it. I might even uninstall it for the time being because honestly, I'm just not happy with the way that it is. I mean, look at this. Like, you know, another year in this game and we got the same battle pass, we got the same rewards. Like, they didn't come out with anything new. And you're telling me that they couldn't try? They couldn't at least try to do something? Um, it's ridiculous in my opinion. So you guys call it like you see it. Be smart if you're gonna spend your money and spend your money in places that are gonna, at least honor you a little bit as a customer and give you some value and some consideration as a customer. That's a pretty short list of games these days, but I feel like Massive is pretty much at the bottom of that list, right? So anyway, y'all, stay cool, stay positive. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.